I can't see anything on my computer. I can't see what's in the live. It's just spinning and spinning with a black background and a white thing spinning. So give me just a second to see if I can get it up on my phone and see what you guys can see. And can you see me and can you hear me? Go ahead and put something in the comment section. And let me find myself. I think I know where my channel is. Okay, well, let's see. I see an ad. I have an ad playing. Let's go ahead and skip that. Oh, you guys can't see me either. What is going on? You can't even see me shaking my head in disgust. Oh my goodness. Okay, let me see what I can figure out here. Let me try to refresh this page. Oh, okay. Hold on, my husband's yelling at me. Oh, he's trying to help me out. Okay. Okay, so I think he was yelling, here it is. And, okay, we're almost there. I'm having to reset my camera thing. We don't want the ultra wide front camera. We're good. Okay, let's see. Okay, I'm unmuting the microphone on my computer. So can you hear me now? But all you can still see is that machine. Let me know if you can hear me because we may end up just dealing with this. You can hear me now. Okay, but you still can't see me, huh? If my iPad would work, we're probably going to have some terrible feedback because, let's see. Okay, I'm going to try to just go all the way out. But if it starts working on my iPad, then all of a sudden I'll have two microphones going. So I'm going to go right back inside. So I'm going to go ahead and mute my computer for a minute. Yay! Yay, 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 success. I had to just get all the way out of StreamYard on my iPad and just go back in and start over. I don't know what that was. I've never had that problem. Thank you, Dimps. Okay. So you can see me, you can see the poolin. Let me go ahead and do this. Okay, so tonight, well, first of all, if you're new here, I'm Marilyn. My channel is Making with Marilyn, and I do a lot of different things. I do sublimation, I do lasers. Hopefully that's not covering. Okay, sublimation, lasers, sewing, embroidery, vinyl, HTV, just a lot of different things because I like just having a variety. So I haven't really niched down to a certain area. But what we're going to do tonight is we're going to do a little embroidery. So I've been working on, I started working on a little jack-o'-lantern pattern, and this is a 4x4 friendly mug rug. So it's going to be tiny, but it's 4x4 friendly. And then what I'll do is I'll put a link to it in the members chat or a members comment, and then I'll also make it larger for those that want larger ones. So I'm excited to do this. I started working on this, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and then I finished it this afternoon. So I'm going to stitch it out for the first time. If it looks good, I'll go ahead and share it. Now, I don't have a great variety of fabric, and so I really didn't have a good orange. Kevin, thank you. I don't have my bell here, and I got in trouble from somebody for doing the whoop whoop thing. So thank you. That's how I'll address that. I appreciate it. Okay, so I don't have a great variety of fabrics, and I think I might go to Hobby Lobby tomorrow. I think Tim's watching. Tim, I might go to Hobby Lobby tomorrow and spend a little bit of money. Not much, just a little bit, so that I can get a few small patterns that work well in mug rugs in some colors that I don't have. But welcome in everyone. I know I didn't say hi to everyone. I do appreciate you being here. And tonight is today's the kickoff of the official NFL season. And there's a game starting a little bit later. I know a lot of you are going to want to watch it. So we're not going to be on here too long, but I do want to get through this. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And I realized I forgot to bring my little mini iron over here, and I'm probably going to need that. Porchy Town, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Maybe I'll just turn my heat press on for now. Oh no, I unplugged it. Hold on. Hold on. Marilyn's got to plug it in. The other thing is I did do a video on that magic powder, and I've had several people ask me about, will it work with sublimation? So I had hoped that maybe at the end of this video, I'd just print out a design. I don't know that we'll have time for that, but we'll see. 8:20 your time. Yes, Angel B, your designs on those tumblers were cute. Very, very cute. And I liked, if you haven't watched Angel B's video yet, it just came out on this HTV Ront tumbler press. Check it out. And one of the tumblers, I think it was the large tumbler. No, I'm not sure. There was a picture of a sweater type, not a mug rug, but something that would go around your coffee mug. And it looked like a sweater sleeve. It was super cute. It made me wonder, should we try to crochet one of those? Should we? All right, so here is a picture of what we're doing. I printed this straight from Embrilliance. And so we're going to have, first step will be a placement stitch. If you are hooping your entire fabric, you don't need the placement stitch. What exactly is a mug rug? Okay, I have my water on a mug rug right now. As my son says, it's a fabric coaster. So it's a fabric coaster. And sometimes they're bigger so that you can fit a little coffee cup and a little dish with a cookie or a muffin or something like that on it. So it's basically a mini placement. It's just a coaster, yes. Okay. So Oh, thank you, Latanya. I think this is the design I did last year. And then I did one the year before that was similar. I feel like I should have pressed the word vibes closer up. It should be hugging the top a little bit more, but I didn't. Okay, so with this, let me go ahead and put this back up. I'm going to look at the computer screen. We're going to have a placement stitch. If you're new to embroidery, what that means is it shows you where to lay down your fabric. So it's just an outline for where you need to make sure fabric is covering. If you hoop your fabric, you don't have to worry about it. Even when I hoop my fabric, I go ahead and run it because it doesn't hurt anything. All right, so then after the placement stitch, we are going to have a tack down stitch, and that's around the outside. That is basically attaching your fabric to your stabilizer. So if the placement stitch, you just put your fabric down, then the tack down stitch sews the fabric to the stabilizer. Then the third stitch is the stipple stitch. Stippling, not sure what that is. After that, what is the next one? I think it's the stem. Oh, I didn't bring any brown over here. After that, it is the position stitch, then the placement stitch for what's going to be appliqued in there, and then the satin stitch that goes around it. After that, the face goes on. It's just one color, so it's one step. And then the last step is where I am going to add fabric to the top of it, sew around it again, flip it right side out, and it'll be a mud rug. And I'm going to do it the envelope style, so I don't have to worry about going back and doing any sewing up of the opening. I really like okay, this one I had to sew around it. But an envelope style one, let's see, I know I have some over here because they've become, there you go. So there's the front, and then on this one, the envelope style, all you do is you flip it right side out, inside out. And there's no sewing you have to do later. And I feel like I'm not going to look at the bottom of my mud rug, so what's it matter? Okay. Hey, Shay. There should be batting in there so the quilting background stands out. You know what? I should get a different thing than what I have. That's right, Chris. I just brought out here a fusible interfacing, and I do have one in the closet over here that has a little bit of fluff to it. I am glad you brought that up. Glad. I forgot to say that. Let me grab that real quick. Well, is this it? Hold on. Is this it? Have I lost it? Maybe it's on this one. And then what I like to do is I like to go ahead and just fuse. I'm looking for my fusible fleece. And neither one of these is a fusible fleece. And I spent several hours in my craft room over a 2-day period getting it organized, and now look, I don't even have the right thing. Okay, so I found it. I forgot that it's on a roll, whereas the other ones that I have are just in packages. Let's go ahead and turn that on. Okay, so I am going to add some fusible fleece onto my background fabric. And in this case, like I said, I don't have a lot of fabric, so we're having to use kind of a red. And then my background is going to be this. And then I think maybe, to make it stand out, I think maybe my stipple stitch will be this. I think. Let's see what it looks like. Shay, yes, I understand. Hey, everyone coming in, and thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. I didn't take the time to go through one by one because I'm on a strict football schedule tonight, the first game. And I don't know if Sharon Davenport's in here. I'm sure she's going to be watching. Okay, so this is the smallest frame that I have for the Poulin. So even though this is a 4x4 friendly project, I will be doing it on a 5.5 by 5.5 inch hoop. And like I said, if you hoop your fabric, you don't need that first placement stitch. I'm still going to do it. Still going to do it. I could skip over it, but it doesn't hurt anything. At least I don't think it hurts anything. Most of you know a whole lot more than I know about embroidery. Hey, Addie. Oh, so let me show you the tumbler real quick. Here's one of the tumblers that I did. Life is short, play pickleball. And best teacher ever. And so that video came out today, this morning sometime. Or it might have been noon or something like that. Hey Stacy. Trying to get 8 shirts out. Wow. You are always working. And I hope that your finger is better. Was it your thumb? A placement for batting. Okay. Well, my batting's going to be attached. Well, I don't know if you want to call it batting. My batting's going to be attached. So, yeah. I hope you guys are having a good day. Hopefully I cut that large enough. Yeah, it's close. It is close. And then I'm trying to remember if I also used a piece of stabilizer. I feel like I should. And you might run these through the washing machine. And so in that case, what I would use is cutaway. All right, let's go ahead and get this started. Getting flattened out a little bit. Hey, I thought somebody said hi to Quilt Wench. Hey, Quilt Wench, if I saw that, I think so. Shay, me too. M.L. Weber, welcome. Oh, Power Tools with Thread. She was so sweet to me. Hey, Mikkel and Kels. Okay, if you hear your name, you'll come back. I'm just going to say your name randomly so that you run in there. I'll say Pink, and you'll come running. Even though, I'm sorry, Shay, there's no Pink today. No Pink. All right, I have some, these are 9x9. Oh, it's tearaway. We're going to use tearaway for now. We're going to use tearaway. This is just my first try for this, so it'll be fine. It will be fine. Hey, that looks nice and smooth. I don't even need to iron that again. All right, let's get this fusible fleece on the back. And I am going to use something that the fusible fleece won't stick to on the top side of this. So I don't have to worry about cutting it down exactly. I should have parchment paper in here. There it is. I reuse parchment paper over and over and over. And I use it on all the things. I think my heat's way too high for that, so I'm just going to leave it for a few seconds. Yes, Chris, I know I should be using, oh fine, you've guilted me into it. I should be using cutaway, and I know that. And, I just so happen to have a scrap of it. A big scrap. Hey, Pretty Eyes Covington. Hey, Tracy. All right, let's make sure that the fuse will fuse, and it did. And because this has been rolled up and put in the middle, well, not rolled up, kind of bunched up, we're going to go ahead and iron it. And I'm going to put under that Teflon sheet because it wants to just stay messed up. And we don't want that, so I'm going to add a little bit of weight to it. Hello to everyone coming in. Hey, Miss Joyce. Thank you guys so much for being here. Is anybody going to watch the game tonight? Anybody in here big Eagles or Cowboys fans? And I learned something. I've talked about chicken houses before, so hopefully I remember to tell you what I learned about that. But for now, we're going to keep going. All right, so I'm going to, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and hoop this. There goes the hair. I'm using a Poulin EOC06. No, nobody. Yes, I had a yes. This is Karen G. Yes. Karen G, which, okay, Miss Joyce is Cowboys. Miss Joyce, you're in California. Well, once a cowboy, always a cowboy, I guess. All right, let me remember how to do this. It's been so long since I've done this. I think that looks fine. I don't know I'm going to be able to get this hoop in yet because I didn't open it up very much. Hooping is not fun for me. I'm a whiner. I'm a whiner when it comes to hooping. No Cowboys. Oh, I thought you said Cowboys. I was confused. That is not unusual for me to be confused. I probably didn't read the comments very well. All right, so Mrs. Karen G doesn't have a, what's it, dog in the fight or whatever the phrase is tonight. Oh, come on. Come on. A little bit larger. And Iowa State fan. Awesome. Do you live in Iowa then? In El Weber? My son looked at college in Iowa State, because they were a engineering school. But he ended up staying in state. Cowboys is your team, Smurf. All right, Smurf. Sylvia, I mean. And well, it is Smurf, but you know. Okay, this looks pretty good. That's the back. It's probably not the tightest that I've ever had, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close. I've gotten, hey Kelly, place hoop and corners furthest away from expansion screw, then press down around the edges to meet up with the screw. Thank you, Chris. You know, I do appreciate, I really appreciate when you make comments. And you know, sometimes back when I was starting, I would screenshot them. Okay, so let me go ahead and change this. Hopefully sound is still good. Hey Jessie. Hey Kristen. All right, so let me see what I can show you over here. There's the design, and on the Poulin, basically there's just a few steps. You pick your pattern, so I went pattern, and then you can either do it wirelessly, or in this case I had it on my USB, so I clicked USB and I selected the pattern. Then the next step is configuration. So I went in there and I chose my hoop size, the 5.5 by 5.5. And then I chose all my colors. And let's go back. Now I'm ready to go over to the embroidery confirmation status area, whatever it's called. And for my first, I haven't used this machine. Let me see. I haven't used this machine since the night we had whatever that issue was, and I opened up my machine and I kind of fixed it, but it really wasn't fixed. And then after the live, I stayed in here and I found that I didn't have something lined up right. And then I redid what I was doing and it was fixed. I haven't embroidered on it since then, so let's hope it behaves today. It usually does. It is a very good behavior usually. Yes, Jess, she is the sewing and embroidery elf, always appears when needed. She does, and I appreciate it. Okay, so let's now see if I can point this over here. And in this, there's two little opening areas there. And really to get them open, you have to, hopefully you can see that. See, when I turn that, it allows these areas to go over these little prongs or whatever you want to call them. So you can also make your, I about pulled the kickstand. You can make that go up higher. And then I'm just going to get it kind of into place, unlock it, and then push it into place. Okay, lucky for me, I'm threaded and ready to go, even though I am going to have to change out my thread a few times. Now, where's my cheat sheet? Where's the cheat sheet? Here it is. Okay, so the first stitch is a placement stitch. Since I hooped the whole thing, I wouldn't have to do this stitch, but I'm going to. So all I need to do, I think, as I recall, is hit this start stop button. Okay, what does it not like? Please press, oh, okay, press the ready key first. There we go. Now, even though I usually like to stop my machine and trim, this is a stitch that's not going to show in the end. So I'm not too concerned about trimming it now, but I will trim it here just a little bit. I love my mighty hoops. Love, love, love them. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. All right, so that was the first step. Now it is telling me, because I pretended like I wanted a color change. I have a color stop, so it's telling me to change my thread color. I don't need to do that. And I really could just skip this step if I wanted to, since I already have my fabric on there. But I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to say, okay, then I change my thread color and I'll push start again. So if you didn't have your fabric on there, the first stitch around would show you where to put your fabric. This stitch around would stitch your fabric down. Cheryl, thank you. All right, so my third stitch is my stipple stitch, and I'm going to, I think I want the stipple stitch to really stand out. Hey, Danny. So, despite the fact that I don't love having to rethread, I'm going to, because I want it to stand out. So, I remember when I was first starting sewing on YouTube, or I'm sorry, embroidering on YouTube. I think I was embroidering. And I pulled the thread backwards, and I can't remember if it was Chiquita or who it was. They said, don't do that. So I haven't since then. I trim it up here and I pull it the correct way. pull it down through the machine. Okay. Now sometimes I forget to put this thing back on, and that can be an issue. So don't do that. And honestly, I think maybe I could get away with making this design a little larger, even for a 4x4. So I might have Dimps try it out with a 4x4 and see if it could go larger. Yeah. Okay, let me get my paper off of there. Now here's the part I always hate to do on live, is the actual, well, let me get it behind that piece first. I've got a couple of bars there to put it under. The actual threading, I don't know why, but I get stage fright. When it's time to put this needle through the thread through the needle, I get stage fright. And usually I don't have to use my jewelry glasses or whatever they're called on this machine. Usually I can do it without them. Unlike, oh, that unraveled. Unlike my multi-needle, the holes in those, the eyes in those needles are so small that I have to use those other glasses. So I'll give it a couple tries. If I don't get it, I'll go grab those glasses. Or I'll move the camera out of the way is what I'll do, so that I can see it from straight on. Actually, this is on wheels. Oopsie, don't do that. This is on wheels, so I can turn it so I can see it straight on. You can do it, Marilyn. Okay, I think I got it. All right, I have a ton of extra thread, but it's fine. Okay, so see all that mess over there? Look at all that. It's terrible. I had this room cleaned up in the last 4 days or so. It's terrible. But it's real. Okay. So let me make sure I am on step. Okay. I'm sure this is that one. Yep. Okay. So let's just hit start. Now here I am going to stop it because I just can't stand this thread getting all caught up in that. So I let it go a few stitches, then stop it. Hey, Lynn. Okay, I don't know if you guys were here when I had an issue and I hear that thumping. I hope this goes well. I hope it goes well. If I can remember how to turn that light off, I'll turn that light off. I just don't want to do it in the middle of a stitch and mess something up. Cut it! Cut it. Shay, you're the one that told me I was, well, I don't know if Angel B is still here, but you said Angel B and I were both thread anxious. Something like that. Thread anxious? Thank you, Lynn. Hey, Diane. Welcome. Welcome. Now, in the end, I don't know, maybe I should use coordinating color for the back of it. I really like to use the same color as the front because then the thread just kind of disappears and you don't, I don't know, you don't have to worry about your side seams as much being perfectly ironed and flat, even though I iron everything. And I don't even see that I've ever done a coordinating color for the back. I always just do the same color. Let me show you some of these. I always just do the same color on the back and the front. That one is an envelope style. Here's one like I'm using tonight, except it's a little bit larger. Okay, so now, you hush. Now I think I'm on the position stitch. Yep, I'm on the placement or position stitch for this fabric. And I'm going to use this same thread for my satin stitch. So I'm just going to leave that color in there for it. And so let me go ahead and run my placement stitch so I know how large a piece I need of this. Thank you, Helen. Welcome, Patches and Petals. Thank you for liking it. Oh, Kristen, nice. Nice. You think tonight's time for change and I should coordinate on the back. Okay. Why not? Uh-oh. Oh, that stitches my hat. I mean, I'm sorry, my stem, not my hat. That's my stem. I knew that. I have it written down right here. I was going to put brown thread in for it. So we're having that color. Let me trim this up. Oh, let me make this bigger because I see a little tail coming out. There we go. So how is the noise level? Like, it's loud for me, but when I was doing this a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whenever that was, people were saying that they could barely hear it. So can you hear a lot of noise from the machine? Because I feel like I'm yelling. Cheryl, I think I could. We could try it. Or maybe I'll just, I think I'm going to have time to do 2 of these maybe. I'm going to keep moving forward just in case I don't have time. And just in case I don't have that. Because kickoff is, what time did you say, Chris? Is it my time, 7:20 or 7:40? Okay, so now we're doing a placement stitch. The Royals have been starting a lot at 6:40, so now I have 40 in my mind. Okay, so let me make this big over here. You hear the noise, but you can hear me fine too. And it doesn't sound like I'm screaming, because I feel like I'm screaming over the machine. Okay, so now it's kind of blending in with the rest of it, but let me make it where it's not going to write on it. You see the little roundish shape of the pumpkin that came through? If you're new to embroidery, which most of you are not, and most of you are way, way, way more experienced than I am, but if you're new to embroidery, that's the placement stitch or the position stitch. It tells you where to put down your next piece of fabric if you're doing applique. And so let's go ahead and cut this. And uh-oh, I let my heat press. Okay, it's still very hot. We'll be fine. Now, tell me, it is a loud machine, but you can hear me fine. Okay, good. Tell me, when you are doing
things like this where you put the fabric on the front, do you tape it down or do you just set it there? I tape down sometimes my topper, like if I'm doing water-soluble topper. And I'm just wondering, does anybody actually tape this next layer down? You tape. Oh, okay, I'm going to tape. I'm going to tape it. Not only do I cut it, I tape it. This is going to be pretty boring colors because everything now, since I messed up the stem, everything's red. Okay. Let's see, find some of my pink tape. Everybody's saying, okay, Bobby, you just set it down. Most people said tape, so I'm going to tape tonight. It depends on how big the image is as to whether you tape it with something that's small tape. Okay, thanks, Patricia. All right, so I'm just going to probably tape it in 2 corners. Oh, I just taped my thread down. Okay, let's put the petal back down. And now we're going to do the tack down stitch. Putting our fingers to keep in place carefully. Okay, Patches, thank you. Yeah, I've gotten to where I use a chopstick for a whole lot of things. What is going on now? Is part of that covered? There we go. There's a little slider thing on it and it was covered. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and take this off the machine. And if you are new, you do not want to take it out of the hoop. You're just taking your hoop off the machine. And I use way too much fabric. That's wasteful. And now I'm just going to trim around my applique fabric. Let me get that. And with the light glare in my eyes, I'm not loving this, but I don't mind for small things like this, cutting around them. I probably should use a cutting machine more often for this stuff, but there is something about cutting around the designs that I like. It's a little therapeutic to me. Hey, Merlinda, welcome. Thank you for coming in. So when I made this design, I looked at various pumpkins and I used Silhouette Studio. And in the end, I took some ovals, I started with 3 ovals and then welded those together. And then I wanted this to go down, so I used some point editing to get that the way I wanted it. The stem, I started with, I think, 2 circles and sliced one out of the other, so it started kind of like a moon shape, and then I used the editing, the point editing to get it the way I wanted it. And then the face I found on Creative Fabrica. I just used the face off of the design. And that's about all there is to it. Okay, so this next step, Jess, where are you going? I saw somebody say, be careful. You're probably just now driving home from work, so if that's it, be careful. Okay, so now we're doing the satin border. And so this will be the last of using this kind of orangey red stuff. That stuff would be called thread. Okay, my thread's not very long, And I don't like risking it coming out of the needle because I don't like putting it through the needle, so we're just going to pull that over. Okay, so I'm going to tell it that I've changed my thread color. I'm going to hold this thread. No, I'm not. I'll just stop it within a very short amount of time. Okay, so let's go ahead and start it. Oh, gotta put my presser foot down. Okay, so we're just going to cut that extra off. I like how my multi-needle sucks that extra thread down in there and you don't have to, oh, you guys can't even see. I'm sorry. You are looking at a boring table. Okay, so I let the satin border stitch go for just a few stitches and then I trimmed away the excess. So let's go ahead and start back up. I'm sorry, Bobby. Finally on your way home. Okay. So yeah, this would be cuter if that stem wasn't the same color as the satin stitch. Oh, I see what you're saying. Turn the thing so that, I think, Chris. Was mine choppy? Maybe mine choppy looking, Chris, was it? Okay, so, can you hear me okay? I have talked before on here about chicken houses, and that in where I live, people call chicken restaurants chicken houses, and I never even thought of it. Somebody in one of the live chats was asking me about it, and you know, a chicken house is typically where the chickens stay while they're being raised. Well, I had a get together with my husband's family, and they're from this area. They've been here historically, and so there are a lot of chicken houses around here. Well, we have a lot of what was called strip mining from I don't even know when. I don't know if it was the 40s, the 50s. I don't know because I didn't live here back then. But anyway, it's called strip mining. It's big machines that go down into the earth and they pull out dirt and they pile it up and then they got to the coal. No, not a coop. The big houses, like if in Arkansas, there's tons and tons of chicken houses where they're, you know, where they're raised. Maybe it's also called a coop. But anyway, during the time when all this strip mining was going on, there were little towns here just booming everywhere, just, you know, 5 miles apart. And so you have coal mines there too. So this was an industry that just kind of popped up out of nowhere. The economy in these little towns was booming, and these ladies would cook chicken in their homes and serve it out of their homes, probably to the miners, I guess, I don't know. But those homes, or those houses where the women would, traditionally the women, would cook chicken and sell it out of their houses, they were called chicken houses. I never even realized that. Okay, how's it look? It looks gorgeous, other than the fact that my stem is orange. And if I was going to change the color of the stem, I should have done it before I did the satin stitch, because the way I did it is I have the stem tucked under the satin stitches, so I can't change it now. But I'll do it correctly on the next one. Really what I want to do tonight was make sure this file worked well. All right, so it is time for black. Let me go ahead and back this up some and change this over. Yeah, and these these weren't like, well, they did have underground mines too, because my husband's great uncle and 2 or 3 of his boys died in a cave-in. Yeah. So I guess they did go pretty deep. But I don't know why I took that off. I never pictured them as the traditional coal mine because it was lots of strips. They just tear up the land and then they just left it that way. And now those are called strip pits and there's water in them. So they're like waterways. And now they're full of fish and people love them. But there's, I don't know. Okay, so the next color is black. And you guys, I said I forget to put this on, and I have not had this on since we started. Hey, Miss Jessie G. Hey, Shamika. You're in the bushes sewing? Awesome. You like that the stem is orange? Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put it on now so I don't forget. And I got to stand up to do this because my chair is really low. My chair no longer lifts and goes down, it just stays down. So I have 2 chairs in here. I should bring the other one over here because it's still, the hydraulic or whatever it's called still works on it. All right. This is a very, very simple little file, but I just figured on a 4x4 I wanted to keep it pretty simple and not try to put words in there. Okay, I'm going to lift this up because my head's about to hit it. Voila! Just that easy. I wish it was always just that easy. Okay. You have strip mining there too and the underground. Okay. And I assume, hey Tarika, I assume we must have had some underground mining around here. Otherwise, I don't know. I guess I need to find out more about the history of Tim's family and what happened. Okay, so this thread will be trimmed between the 2 eyes, the nose, and the mouth, which I really love about this machine is it is a fairly inexpensive machine and you can set it up to trim the thread. Oh my goodness, Jessie. I would be so claustrophobic. There is, in Arkansas, there is underground waterways where you can take kayaking tours, and I'm a little nervous to do that. And like our friend, they're a little nervous too, but I think maybe I can handle it. I'm gonna try. All right, I have to remember to lower this, and this time I actually did remember to put that cap on. So let's hit start. I don't like how the thread is bunched up, so I'm going to go ahead and try to trim away. Oh my goodness. That looks like a mess. I didn't do very well there. Look at that thread. Huh. Look at that thread. I think I'll just back it up and start this layer over. I don't know. Oh, wait. I think I can get it fixed. But those loops are going to be a little loose. I'm going to have to go to the back side to do this. Sorry. All we have left is this layer and okay, don't hate me for trimming this. I know you're not supposed to do that. Okay. Let's see. Can I remember how to back up? Needle. Let's go back 10 stitches. And on my picture over here, the eyeball that was done, or the eye part that was done, went away. So I think it's pretty much going to start most of it over. All right, put that back down. Yep. So figuring out how to use that back and forward function for me has just been great. On this machine as well as my multi-needle. Hey, D. Smith. Hey, Sandra. So when it trims between, it sucks that thread in, but at the beginning it doesn't, and you have to trim it. Ah, you're quilting on Eagle's quilt. So have they kicked off already, I assume? A little bit of extra thread on that one, but it's not a big deal. Okay, so since Kristen has spoken, we are going to coordinate the fabric for the first time. Let's see. Hey, Gail. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lift this. I don't really feel like I need to take it all the way off, but I'm going to go ahead and get rid of this thread color. And then to sew the two sides together, I'd really like to use kind of a gray thread so that, you know, if the seams are pulling apart at all, that it blends in with it and you don't see it. White wouldn't be bad, actually. I used white for the first one. Let me see. That doesn't really blend in. I have a huge set of Richworth thread that Naomi, may she rest in peace, sent to me. And I'm sure, because there's 80 colors in here, I'm sure there's one that would match it really nicely. But I think I'm going to go with white. Hey, Eve. Hey, Crafty Designs Gifts. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Okay, so we're going back to this white thread. And back up again. So tomorrow night, Eve and Patrice, and maybe Rachel, unbiased, are doing a quilt block. And I might pop in for part of it, but I have a Chiefs conflict, and so I don't get to do it, but I'm going to pop in for a while. But Eve, do you know what block you're doing yet tomorrow night? And it may just be Patrice and Eve. I don't know. I do not know. Okay, so with the envelope back, the way I like to do it, instead of just folding it under partially and sewing that, I like to have it double folded. It uses a little more fabric, but I find that it's easy to do that way. Okay, so let's see. If I double, that is a whole lot more than I need to do. That is a whole lot more than I need to do. Okay, let's see if I could get 2 pieces out of this. Oh yeah. Okay, so let's just fold this in half. And okay, Kristen, we're being a good sister tomorrow. Marlene, I didn't see you earlier, I don't think. Hey, let's see. I just know it will involve quilting. That's all I know. So yeah, but I think they're going to do a an embroidered. Are you guys doing an embroidered quilt block? Whereas when I do mine, I'm just going to do old-fashioned sew your quilt blocks and then sew them together. And then maybe try to freehand doing the quilting on top, when it's done. Hey, Nicole. So with this, okay, she was researching designs. With this, I am going to place 1 piece. Oh, I want this one to be on top though. I like the top piece to be the one that overlaps. But wait a minute, once you turn it right side out, okay, I think I want it this way. It works perfectly fine either way. But I want it to kind of be that way. And hopefully it's somewhat straight. If I use the little lines, I don't know if those lines are straight, that's the problem. I can use the lines in the fabric, but I don't know if they're straight. Okay, so this will be the one that shows once I flip it right side out. So I have the folded side toward the middle. So we are going to do it just like this. And I have not taped mine down there and there because I don't want to have to deal with stitching through it. This may not be the best color. It's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. Don't worry about it, Marilyn. Just sew or embroider. So let me start this. And I'm going to stop it pretty quickly. Okay, because I wanted to see what direction it was coming from. And I want to trim away that excess thread. So since it's coming from the underside one over the top one, it could get hooked on this. So I'm going to use this and hold it down. Actually, I can tape it out there. That won't get under the thread. That's probably the better option. That's probably the better option. But I still think I'll hold it right here with this, not my fingers. Now this whole one, I don't need to hold it because it's going in the direction where it will not pick up anything, if that makes sense. And I believe, thank you, I'm biased. I believe that this is set to go around 2 times. Yep, 2 times. And then all we have left after this is take it off, take it out of the hoop, trim away the outside, flip it right side out, and then iron it down. Yeah, it did get it hooked under there. When it went to the center. Okay, remove this without making you sick. Remove this big thing of thread. And let's see, I can go ahead and take it out of the hoop. Jess says, I can't wait to see, why is that covered again? There we go. I can't wait to see what mug robes you come up with for Thanksgiving and Christmas as well. Thank you, Jess. I'm going to try to get a little more detail. Mine have been really, really, like, how much more plain can they be than that or that? So I have a thread on there. I'm going to try to get a little more details in the applique part. All right, so here's what it looks like on the back. Here's what it looks like on this side. I used way, way more fabric than I needed to. Way, way more everything than I needed to. But I'm going to trim it down. I'm going to keep all these little scraps because you never know with quilting what you might do with the small scraps. So I have a little basket thingy that I have my scraps in. Okay, I'm going to grab my pinking shears. Because I can. And I'm going to take off a little bit more of this stuff. All right, so I'm going to clip my corners, but not too close. Get a little of that bulk out of there. Okay, and then I'm going to go around. Wow, this is really angled. I might make you sick. Okay, I'm going to go around the pinking shears. Patrice, you snuck in. You've probably been working. Now, if I did this right, when I turn it right side out, everything's going to work just fine. And I have fabric going all over my keyboard. All right, one more side. So has Ian team scored yet? Am I missing anything good? Hey, Delonda. I really want to, applique with my regular. I think you can do it, Kristen. All right, let's flip this thing. Gotta flip from both sides. And it's tiny. Demps, are you still here? Do you want to try this out on a 4x4 and see if I can make it larger? And then I'll put this in a members post. Okay. All right, Kristen, you got your way. I used the coordinating fabric. And let's poke these out. Birch without poking through. It's harder to get down in the corners of the bottom piece, or the piece of this that's on the bottom, but it can be done. All right, so all the sewing is done. So this little bitty guy, he's cute. That's what the back looks like. And then that's what the front looks like, but we're not done. We have to iron that. And see, my stitches show a little bit there. I'm wondering, is that the first set of stitches? Is that my placement stitch? That's probably my placement stitch that I didn't have my final stitch far enough away from it. So I think I need to adjust that. Let me grab my little iron and clean this up, and then we'll be done. It's cute though. Look at that. Oh, Lisa. So, thanks, Bobby. Lisa, which topaz did it end up being? The 40, the 50, the 30? Because I have the 40, and I haven't used it for quite a while. But the way Barb used to describe them is that the Husqvarnas are workhorses. All right, get my little pressing mat out here, the one that I burnt. Let's see, score is 7-7. Thank you. Oh, yes, Jess, that'd be real cute. That's a good idea for your, your relatives, kids that come by that you want to do something special for. That special basket when it's your neighborhood kids or your family or your friends' kids. I always love it when the teenagers come with no costumes and still want candy. I understand. I like candy too. It was the 50. Awesome. So, Kristen, this is the X-Tool little mini press. I have multiples. As a matter of fact, I gave my sister-in-law a mini press recently. I like this one because it's a nice size. It's bigger than the Cricut. It has an auto off, and it doesn't have the little hole or, I think it's the HTV Ron one that I have that has a divot here. So you're not truly getting the use of that space unless you're using it on something that's rounded. But yeah, this one's the X-Tool. It's a little expensive. I didn't pay for it, so yeah. So Lisa, they have magnetic hoops for the 50. The magnetic hoops work with the not the 40. They work on the 30 and the 50, but they don't work. They're not compatible with the 40, which is the one that I have. I was like, what? Why? Thanks, Gail. All right. I'm trying to roll that backside down some so it doesn't show from the front. And that's why I typically use the same fabric on the front and the back. It's just easier. This is more precise. It's just easier when you know it that way. Oh, Kristen, yes. I still have my Cricut mini press too, and I use it. It's just, you know, it's so small. And since I do sublimation, I like this size because with the Cricut one, if you were doing sublimation earrings, and the earrings the size that I like to make them, it didn't always cover your whole thing. And this one's large enough that it does. Okay, I feel like this one still needs to be tucked, rolled in there a little bit more. Let's pull it from the back side and we'll just press it right here. Quilt Winch, are you still here? I did. Oh, I saw you there. I made it into Power Tools with Thread this morning. She stayed on. She stayed on late. Okay, and then there was another person in here from early on in this live that said they came over from that channel. I appreciate that. I thought I saw Kevin come back in here. Did I? Nope, maybe not. All right, I think we're done. We got our teeny tiny little mug rug, and I'll show you compared to others how little and cute it is. So like here's one of my probably larger ones. This one I cut terribly. You can see the fabric that I didn't trim down very well. That was that way. That one's that way, but I'm getting better. So let me get this one. Like here's a mug rug also, but longer. Here's a pretty good size square one. This is one that I had to sew shut where you left an opening instead of doing the envelope. I really love the envelope style. But see, it's a lot smaller. And my cup fits on it barely. It's not overhanging it. I'm not sure how many drips it would catch, but I think, you know, a lot of coffee mugs are smaller than that. If I had one handy, I would just grab a coffee mug, but I don't. So, Dems, if you're here, do you want to try this on your 4x4 and see if there's room for a little bit of expansion? I have one thread that I can't tell. It's not a loop, so I can't pull it through from the back. And people hate when you trim these off, but they drive me crazy. That's probably where it started on one of the layers. It's probably tucked under a satin stitch. Anyway, that is what we have for tonight. Let me turn this off. I appreciate you guys being here. I will see if somebody that has a 4x4 can try this out and see if I can make it a little bit larger. The design itself, let me pull up the design. And let me see about sharing my screen real quick, and then we'll get off of here. Oh, they have changed some of the buttons here. Okay, share my screen. Okay, let's enter into the tunnel. Here's the design, and it's, I don't know what size of hoop this is in embroidery, that doesn't really matter. But the overall design, let me click on that. Gosh, where do you find your overall design? Length 3.5, okay. Where the heck do you find your overall design? Does anybody know how I find my overall design size? I'm gonna watch the comments. Oh, here it is. Okay, 3.5 by 3.5. That is the overall design size. Now my final stitch is just inside of the outside stitch. So once you turn it and all that, you lose some room. This final, I'm gonna go ahead and burn an inch. This final design ended up almost at 3 1/4 inches. Yeah, right at 3 1/4 inches. But I'm just not sure on a 4x4 if I can go larger than 3.5 by 3.5. It's on the, okay, thanks. All right, let me go ahead and get rid of that. Nope, that's what I'm going to be printing with the sublimation printer to do that magic powder. Stop sharing. Okay, there we go. All right, all right, all right. Okay, so thank you guys for being here and hanging out while we did this. I think it's pretty cute. I would much rather have a different color stem. And I don't know, I need to get some better fabric. Like I said at the beginning, I'm probably going to go to Hobby Lobby tomorrow and try to get some fabric colors because I'm not an orange person, so I just really didn't have much in the way of orange fabric to pick from. Thanks, Jessie. All right, thank you, Quilt Wench. I appreciate that. So tomorrow evening, Patrice and Eve, and I'm not sure if a third person is joining them to do a quilt block, and that's on Craftable Things. So if you want to see that, she will come on approximately 6:30 Central Time, 6:45 Central Time. I'm going to be watching the football game with some other people, but I'm gonna try to sneak in for just a little bit. So I hope that I see you there. And if not, hopefully I'll see you back here next Thursday. And of course, Eve, each Sunday night. You know the whole lineup. So anyway, thanks, Patrice. I will see you guys. Bye, Kevin. Bye, bye, Dorica. I will see. You're not blocking me tomorrow, Patrice. You are not blocking me tomorrow. You're going to send me that link just in case I can come in for a while. Okay, I'll see you later. Bye.